The vastness of space stretched endlessly before the Vexari scout ship Calrux, its sleek obsidian hull gleaming faintly against the stars. Inside the command chamber, Commander Ethar leaned forward, eyes fixed on the holographic projection of a small blue planet below Earth. The Vexari had observed many worlds, many civilizations, but this one had drawn their attention recently. Report, Ethar demanded, voice calm, but edged with a hint of disdain. Earth's spacefaring technology remains primitive. The tactical officer replied, their largest vessel, the Sentinel, is a relic. Its design is outdated, barely capable of extended deep space travel. Compared to our fleet, it is insignificant. A ripple of amused murmurs passed through the bridge crew. For the Vexari, who prided themselves on centuries of technological superiority, Earth was a mere curiosity and unpolished gem far from the galaxy's power centers. Prepare a message to command, Ethar said with a faint smirk. Inform them that submission is the only reasonable course. Resistance is futile. Their Sentinel is worthless. Meanwhile, far below in Earth's orbit, the Sentinel drifted quietly among the scattered remnants of humanity's modest fleet. The ship bore its age in the worn edges of its hull plating and the low hum of its aging engines. But within its walls, a crew of devoted humans worked diligently, ready for another routine patrol on the edge of human-controlled space. Captain Maya Carter stood on the bridge, her gaze steady as she scanned the starfield. The Sentinel was hardly the gleaming starship of legend, but it was home to her crew, and it represented humanity's enduring spirit. Routine systems check, she announced calmly. Engineering, report. Lieutenant Raj Singh's voice crackled over the comms. All systems nominal. Captain, shield stable. Propulsion at optimal levels given current power reserves. Good. Keep me informed. Carter turned to her. First Officer, Lieutenant Commander Alara Chen. Any word from Earth Command? Chen shook her head. Nothing unusual. Just standard patrol orders. Earth is pushing for more exploration, but no immediate threats reported. Yet, beneath the surface of routine, unease stirred. There had been faint signs of unexplained sensor blips near the outer colonies. Strange transmissions to brief to code. The crew felt it, though no one voiced the fear aloud. Hours later, that quiet tension shattered. Alarms blared as the Sentinel sensors erupted in activity. Multiple unidentified vessels approaching at high speed, shouted the sensor officer, classified as Vexari. They're closing in fast. Carter's calm gave way to steel. Battle stations, prepare to engage. Inform Earth Command this is no drill. The Vexari fleet was unlike anything the Sentinel had faced before, sleek, fast, and armed with weapons far beyond Earth's typical armament. The Sentinel's crew scrambled to deploy defenses, their practice hands moving quickly despite the overwhelming odds. The first salvo struck, energy blasts ripping through the void toward Earth's outer defenses. The Sentinel maneuvered to intercept, its adaptive shields flaring under attack. Captain, shields holding but weakening, reported Singh. Their firepower is intense. We hold the line. Carter ordered. Focus on protecting the colonies. We buy time. The battle was desperate. The Sentinel's aging weapons struggled to penetrate the Vexari shields, but the crew's determination was fierce. Every maneuver was precise, every shot carefully aimed. In the chaos, something unexpected happened. The ship's AI, an experimental upgrade hidden from public knowledge, began analyzing enemy patterns and adjusting the Sentinel's defenses in real time. Shields adapted, weapons recalibrated, giving the crew an edge no one anticipated. The Vexari observers watching from afar furrowed their brows in confusion. Their worthless target was far more formidable than their scouts had reported. The first skirmish ended with the Vexari retreating to reassess. The Sentinel remained battered, but unbroken, a silent testament to humanity's resilience. Back on the bridge, Carter exhaled slowly. This is only the beginning, she said quietly. They think we are weak. They don't know what we're capable of. As the stars shimmered beyond the viewport, Earth's oldest warship prepared for a war that would redefine the galaxy. The Vexari fleet had barely withdrawn when Earth's Space Command went into overdrive. Alerts buzzed across communication networks, and the urgency of the situation rippled through every corner of the planet and its colonies. Satellites adjusted orbits, defensive turrets powered up, and warships hurried to their stations. Captain Maya Carter stood once again on the Sentinel's bridge, the tension palpable. The ship was no longer just a patrol vessel, it was Earth's Frontline defense, the scars from the initial clash marred its hull, but the crew's resolve remained unshaken. Incoming transmission from Earth Command. Lieutenant Commander Alara Chen announced, tapping the console. The holographic image of Admiral Hassan appeared, his expression grim. Captain Carter, the Vexari threat is far greater than anticipated, the Admiral said. We must prepare for a full-scale assault. Your ship and crew will lead the defense. We're counting on you. Maya met his gaze firmly. Understood, Admiral. We won't let her fall. As the Sentinel and its crew prepared for the inevitable storm, the Vexari were already regrouping. Their commander scorned Earth's resistance, unwilling to accept that a so-called relic ship could survive against their might. They planned their next move, a surprise strike aimed at crippling Earth's orbital defenses. And the Sentinel itself, the calm before the storm was brief. Without warning, Vexari warships surged back into Earth's orbit, moving with brutal precision. Their energy weapons flared, cutting swaths through satellite arrays and planetary shields. The Sentinel maneuvered swiftly, weaving between blasts to protect fragile installations below. Shields at 60%, reported Lieutenant Raj, seeing damage sustained to aft thrusters. Carter's jaw tightened. Damage control, prioritize thrusters and shield generators. Keep us in the fight. The Vexari struck with overwhelming force, testing Earth's limits. But the humans were not so easily broken. Inside the Sentinel, the crew moved with practiced coordination. Engineers patched breaches, weapons officers recalibrated targeting systems. Pilots flew daring maneuvers to intercept enemy fire. Each member understood the stakes, and each fought with unwavering determination. Amid the chaos, the ship's AI continued to adapt. It analyzed enemy firing patterns and predicted attack vectors, feeding that data to the crew in real time. The Sentinel shields began to shift frequencies dynamically, absorbing energy more efficiently and frustrating the Vexari's attempts to break through. On the alien side, frustration grew. How can this outdated vessel withstand our assault? Commander Ethar barked in disbelief from the Calrux. Deploy the interceptor squadrons. Destroy that ship. Small, nimble Vexari fighters swarmed the Sentinel, darting through debris fields and firing rapid bursts of plasma. The ship's point defense turrets opened fire, blasting fighters from the sky one after another, but more kept coming. On the bridge, Carter's eyes were sharp. Evasive maneuvers Delta. Focus all point defense on the starboard flank. Lieutenant Chen adjusted targeting controls, firing on enemy fighters, shields holding steady. Despite the odds, the Sentinel held its ground. The crew's resilience and the ship's secret technologies combined to frustrate the attackers at every turn. The battle raged for hours, shaking Earth's orbit with explosions and energy discharges. In the end, the Vexari were forced to withdraw. Once more, their forces depleted and morale shaken. Back on Earth, news of the Sentinel's endurance spread quickly. For a species long underestimated, their ancient starship became a symbol of defiance and hope. In a quiet moment after the battle, Captain Carter stood alone on the observation deck, gazing at the Earth below, a fragile blue orb still shining. Despite the storm, Lieutenant Singh joined her. We did well today, Captain. The ship performed beyond expectations. Carter nodded slowly. It's more than the ship. It's the people. The fight isn't over, but this victory, it shows what we're capable of. Singh smiled faintly, and it has them questioning everything. As stars glittered overhead, the Sentinel prepared for the challenges ahead. The Vexari had underestimated humanity, but now Earth was ready to show the galaxy that its worthless starship was anything but. After the fierce skirmishes in Earth's orbit, the Sentinel limped into the dockyards orbiting the planet's surface. Repair crews swarmed the ship, their hands moving quickly to patch battle damage, replace shield emitters, and recalibrate weapon rays. Though battered, the ship's core systems remained intact thanks largely to the experimental technology secretly integrated long ago. Captain Maya Carter stood in the ship's engineering bay, flanked by Chief Engineer Lena Torres. The hum of machinery filled the space, a mix of old systems and newly installed components working in harmony. Lena, Carter began. How soon can we get the Sentinel fully operational again? Torres wiped grease from her hands and gave a confident smile. We're making good progress. The adaptive shields took a beating, but their core is still functioning. The AI's neural matrix is intact. We'll have it back online in under 24 hours. Carter nodded thoughtfully. This AI system, how much of a difference did it make during the fight? Torres grinned. A huge one. The AI wasn't just reacting, It was predicting enemy maneuvers, learning from each strike and adjusting our defenses dynamically. It's like having an experienced tactician integrated directly into the ship's systems. The Sentinel's AI had been a top-secret project, developed in the shadows of Earth's research community. Dubbed Argus, it was designed to augment human capabilities by rapidly analyzing battlefield conditions and providing instantaneous tactical advice. Few outside the project knew of its existence, least of all the Vexari. Meanwhile, aboard the Vexari command ship, Commander Ethar paced with growing frustration. "How is this primitive vessel surviving against our fleet?" he demanded. "Our weapons should have dismantled it." His tactical officer, a sharp-eyed Vexari named Zelvac, answered cautiously, "It appears the Sentinel possesses an advanced defense system. Our sensors can't fully penetrate its shield frequencies. Additionally, its AI is coordinating its attacks and defenses in ways we have not encountered." Ethar clenched his mandibles. "We cannot afford another setback. I want detailed analysis on this ship. Find any weaknesses, or we will deploy overwhelming force." Back on Earth, Carter convened a meeting with her senior officers. The mood was serious but resolute. "We've learned things," Carter said. "First, the Vexari vastly underestimated us. Second, the Sentinel's secret tech is our ace in the hole. We need to understand it fully, improve it, and make sure the crew is ready for what comes next." Lieutenant Commander Elarachen spoke up. "Our opponents will come back stronger. We should accelerate training simulations using Argus's tactical algorithms. The better we integrate human intuition with the AI, the more unpredictable we become." Science Officer Dr. Marcus Field nodded. "I'm coordinating with research teams on Earth to enhance the ship's systems. Argus can adapt, but it's still limited by hardware. We need upgrades to keep pace." Over the following days, the Sentinel became a hive of activity. Engineers, scientists, and crew worked side by side, blending human ingenuity with cutting-edge technology. The ship's worn interior hummed with new life, a blend of old and new that embodied Earth's spirit. Outside the ship, the Vexari scouting parties probed further, testing Earth's defenses. But the Sentinel, now revitalized, was ready. During simulated combat drills, Captain Carter pushed her crew harder than ever. "Remember," she reminded them, "our strength isn't just the technology. It's our will, our unity. Argus is a tool, but we're the ones who decide the outcome." One evening, as the stars turned slowly outside the observation window, Carter reflected on how far they'd come. What the galaxy had dismissed as a worthless relic was in truth a marvelous ship that combined humanity's relentless drive to survive with a hidden edge no other species had anticipated. The Sentinel was more than metal and circuits. It was a symbol of humanity's unyielding spirit, a spirit that no alien arrogance could extinguish. As Earth braced for the next wave of attacks, the crew prepared not just to defend their home, but to show the galaxy that even the underestimated could become invincible. Weeks passed in tense preparation. Earth's orbital defenses had been reinforced, and fleets were positioned strategically around the solar system. The Sentinel, now enhanced and fully operational, was at the forefront of these defenses. Its crew had grown more confident, trained rigorously to synchronize their instincts with the AI Argus, blending human creativity with technological precision. Captain Maya Carter stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the starfield through the massive viewport. Reports had confirmed that the Vexari were amassing a large fleet. At the edge of the system, an unmistakable sign that the next phase of the invasion was imminent. The silence was heavy, but anticipation crackled like electricity. Suddenly, the ship's sensors flared to life. "Incoming vessels detected," Lieutenant Chen announced. Estimated fleet size, 50 warships. Vexari class. Carter's lips pressed into a thin line. "Battle stations. This is it." The Sentinel's engines roared as it slipped out from behind the planet's shadow, meeting the Vexari fleet head-on. The alien ships were sleek and deadly, their dark hulls pulsing with energy weapons and missile banks. They were confident, expecting a swift victory against what they still assumed was a minor threat. But the Sentinel and its crew were ready. Argus immediately began analyzing enemy formations and firing patterns, the AI-coordinated shield frequencies, and weapon targeting, sending rapid-fire upgrades to the bridge crew. Every sensor ping, every energy burst was tracked and countered with precise responses, shields at full capacity, reported Lieutenant Singh, all systems green. The battle erupted in a dazzling display of light and sound. Energy beams cut through the void, Missiles streaked toward enemy targets, and fighter squadrons danced in deadly choreography. The Sentinel maneuvered with surprising agility for a ship of its size, using the element of unpredictability to its advantage. Focus fire on the lead cruisers, Carter ordered. Disrupt their command and control. The Vexari responded with overwhelming force, but their attacks found no easy opening. Argus anticipated their moves, adapting shields to absorb plasma bursts and guiding counterattacks with pinpoint accuracy. The crew worked in unison, their trust in the AI growing with every maneuver. Suddenly, a massive Vexari dreadnought emerged from behind the fleet, its weapons charging for a devastating strike. Captain, dreadnought incoming, warned Chen. Its energy output is off the charts. Carter's eyes narrowed. Deploy interceptors, draw their fire. Fighters launched from the Sentinel, engaging the dreadnought's escorts in fierce dogfights. Meanwhile, the Sentinel shifted its course, weaving through debris and energy blasts to close the distance. Fire the quantum disruptor cannon. Carter commanded. This weapon, another secret integrated into the ship, had remained untested in combatant experimental device designed to disrupt enemy shields at a molecular level. The Sentinel charged the cannon, energy building to a blinding crescendo. When the blast finally fired, it tore through space like a concentrated wave of destruction, striking the dreadnought shields and causing them to flicker and collapse. Chaos erupted aboard the alien ship. The Sentinel's crew seized the moment, concentrating fire on the crippled dreadnought. Within moments, it exploded in a brilliant flare, debris scattering into the void. The Vexari fleet faltered. Their once confident assault now faced unexpected resistance. Carter took a deep breath. Maintain pressure. Don't give them a chance to regroup. The battle continued with fierce intensity, but the tide was turning. The Sentinel and its crew had proven that humanity's so-called relic was a force to be reckoned with, its deadly blend of technology and human spirit outmatching even the most advanced alien designs. As the last Vexari ship retreated, the Sentinel sailed triumphantly back toward Earth orbit, battered but victorious. On the bridge, cheers broke out quietly, but Carter remained focused. This victory is only the beginning, she said. They will come back. We must be ready. Below, Earth's leaders and citizens watched the news in awe. The Sentinel's triumph was more than a military success. It was a declaration to the galaxy that humanity's underestimated Starship was now its most powerful and invincible asset. The victory against the Vexari fleet echoed across the solar system, sending waves of relief and hope through humanity's outposts. Yet, beneath the celebrations, a sobering truth remained. This was only the beginning of a larger war. Captain Maya Carter stood once more on the Sentinel's bridge, reviewing the aftermath reports with her senior officers. The ship bore new scars, deep gouges in its hull. Systems strained to their limits, but the damage was manageable. We proved we can hold our own, Carter said, but the Vexari won't forget this defeat. Lieutenant Commander Alarachan nodded. Intelligence suggests their commanders are reorganizing, likely to launch a more coordinated offensive. They will exploit any weaknesses they find. Science Officer Dr. Marcus Field chimed in. We've been analyzing debris from the destroyed dreadnought. Its technology, while advanced, shows vulnerabilities when faced with quantum disruption. It's a significant breakthrough, Chief Engineer Lena Torres added. Argus has been instrumental in adapting our defenses, but we need to push the ship's upgrades further, improving weapon range and shield resilience. Carter considered the suggestions, knowing every advantage mattered. Begin upgrades immediately. I want simulations run around the clock. We'll refine tactics and prepare for the worst. Beyond the Sentinel, Earth's leadership convened emergency meetings. The Galactic Council and Assembly of Advanced Civilizations watched the conflict with wary interest. Many had dismissed Earth as primitive, but the Sentinel's performance challenged those assumptions. Ambassador Celine Hayes addressed the Council via hologram. Humanity's resilience and ingenuity have surprised us all. Their secret weapon is not just the ship, but their willingness to innovate and adapt rapidly. Still, some members of the Council remain skeptical. One elder representative from a distant star system questioned Earth's ability to sustain a prolonged conflict. Yet the momentum had shifted. Earth was no longer a backwater planet, but a formidable power. Back on the Sentinel, Carter and her crew faced daily drills, tactical debates, and strategic planning. Each member understood the weight of responsibility resting on their shoulders. One night, Carter met privately with Argus, the ship's AI interface. Its presence was felt in the dimly lit room as a calm, analytical voice. "Captain, the Vexari have begun developing countermeasures against our quantum disruptor," Argus reported. "We must innovate further or risk losing our edge." Carter frowned. "What do you suggest?" "Integrating multi-spectrum adaptive shields and increasing weapon modulation frequency could restore our advantage. However, these upgrades require resources and time." "We don't have much time," Carter replied. "Coordinate with engineering and science. Begin prototyping immediately as preparations advanced." Reports of skirmishes at the fringes of human space increased. The Vexari probed defenses, testing reactions, looking for cracks. During one such encounter, the Sentinels patrol intercepted a Vexari raiding party targeting a civilian convoy. The ensuing battle was fierce but swift, with the crew protecting the convoy while delivering a decisive blow to the attackers. "Every victory matters," Carter told her crew afterward. "We protect not just Earth, but every human life in the galaxy." The stakes were clear. Earth's survival depended on more than just technology. It required unity, courage, and relentless determination. Amidst the rising tension, a message arrived from an unexpected source, an anonymous Vexari defector seeking asylum and offering valuable intelligence. The council debated accepting the defector, while Carter's team prepared to extract and debrief the alien dot as the galaxy held its breath. The Sentinel remained a beacon of humanity's defiant spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest times, the underestimated could rise to become unstoppable. The arrival of the Vexari defector sent ripples through Earth's command structure, and the Galactic Council, Ambassador Celine Hayes, the liaison between Earth and the Council, arranged a secure meeting to receive the alien's testimony. The Sentinel was tasked with ferrying the defector safely from the extraction point. Deep in Vexari space to Earth orbit, Captain Maya Carter stood on the Sentinel's bridge, watching the stars blur as the ship jumped to hyperspace. The defector's presence weighed heavily on her mind. Who was this alien? What secrets did they hold? Could they be trusted? The ship's AI, Argus, monitored all systems and communicated encrypted channels between Earth and the Sentinel. "Captain, the defector's biological signals are stable. Psychological evaluations indicate heightened anxiety, but no signs of deceit thus far." Carter nodded, but remained cautious. "Keep all sensors focused on the cargo bay. No surprises." When the defector was brought aboard, Carter met them personally. The alien was smaller than a human, with delicate features and iridescent skin, a stark contrast to the imposing Vexari warriors. "I am Kale," the defector said, voice soft but firm. "I come with information that could change the course of this war." Kale's revelation was sobering. The Vexari High Command was planning a massive offensive, one designed to overwhelm Earth's defenses entirely. They had developed new weapons capable of neutralizing the Sentinel's quantum disruptor, and were mobilizing fleets unseen before. "But there is hope," Kale continued. "The Vexari's reliance on centralized command makes them vulnerable. Their fleets lack autonomous coordination. If you disrupt their communications, chaos will follow." Carter listened intently, considering the risks and possibilities. "Thank you, Kale. We will do everything we can to use this information." Argus processed the data rapidly, integrating it into tactical simulations. "Captain, this insight allows us to develop new electronic warfare protocols. We can target Vexari communication nodes to disrupt their fleet coordination." Back on Earth, the Council mobilized. Research and development teams collaborated to build jamming devices and specialized drones capable of penetrating Vexari defenses. Training exercises grew more intense, with Sentinel's crew focusing on rapid response and electronic warfare tactics. Carter worked closely with Argus, refining strategies that combined human unpredictability with AI precision. Days later, scouts detected a massive Vexari armada entering the solar system. The time had come. The Sentinel led the charge, deploying electronic warfare drones ahead of the fleet. These drones unleashed bursts of interference that scrambled Vexari communications. Confusion rippled through the enemy ranks, ships hesitated, and coordination faltered. Carter seized the opportunity. Focus fire on isolated vessels, exploit their disarray. The battle that followed was unlike any before. Vexari ships, accustomed to rigid command structures, struggled to operate effectively. The Sentinel and allied forces pressed their advantage, dismantling the enemy piecemeal. As the conflict raged, Carter thought back to Kell's words. The defector had risked everything to give humanity a fighting chance. In return, the crew of the Sentinel fought with renewed vigor, driven by hope, unity, and a will to survive. When the final enemy vessel retreated, the Sentinel was battered but triumphant once more. The galaxy watched in awe as Earth's worthless Starship proved it could change the tide of war, but Carter knew the war was far from over. The Vexari would adapt, but so would humanity. The Sentinel had become more than a weapon. It was a symbol of resilience and the unbreakable spirit of a species determined to survive and thrive among the stars. In the weeks following the electronic warfare victory, the mood across human space shifted from desperate defense to cautious optimism. The Sentinel had shattered the myth of invincibility surrounding the Vexari war machine, and the Galactic Council began to view humanity as a force to be reckoned with. Captain Maya Carter felt the weight of this transformation heavily on her shoulders. Victory was a fragile thing. Every triumph bred new challenges. The Vexari had retreated, but they had not been destroyed. Intelligence suggested they were regrouping in a distant sector, preparing for an even deadlier strike. On the Sentinel, the crew focused on upgrades and training. The integration of Kel's insights had revolutionized their approach, and Argus continued to push the boundaries of their tactical capabilities. But Carter knew that relying on technology alone would not be enough. We must be ready for anything, she told her officers. This war isn't just about firepower, it's about strategy, endurance, and the will to fight when all odds are against us. A week later, the unexpected happened. A massive Vexari fleet emerged suddenly from hyperspace, much closer to Earth than predicted. Their target was the newly established outer defense ring. Human colonies and mining stations vital to sustaining the war effort. The alarm sounded across the system. Battle stations, Carter commanded, eyes sharp as she studied the rapidly advancing enemy formation. The Sentinel led the defense once more, coordinating with smaller human vessels in a desperate attempt to shield vulnerable worlds. The battle was brutal and chaotic, with debris and energy bursts filling the void. Amid the clash, Argus detected an anomaly within the Vexari fleet, a pattern of movement inconsistent with typical battle tactics. Captain, Argus warned, there is a secondary fleet cloaked and approaching from an unexpected vector. They appear to be carrying a new weapon platform. Carter's heart sank. Can we intercept? Not before they reach the outer colonies. Suggest immediate countermeasures. The situation grew dire. As the Sentinel scrambled to respond, sensors picked up a massive energy surge from the cloaked fleet. A wave of destructive pulses radiated outward, crippling communication arrays and weapon systems across the defense ring. Human forces faltered. Panic rippled through the colonies as the Vexari exploited their temporary advantage. But the Sentinel remained steadfast. Carter ordered the ship to execute a daring maneuver, disengage from the main battle and pursue the cloaked fleet. The risk was immense, but failure to act meant losing critical territory. Argus guided the Sentinel through asteroid fields and enemy fire, closing in on the elusive fleet. As they approached, the ship's sensors began to penetrate the cloaking field. What emerged was a terrifying sight. A colossal Vexari war machine, armed with experimental weapons capable of annihilating entire planets. Target identified, Vexari. Dreadnought-class superweapon, Argus reported. Classified as the Oblivion, Carter clenched her fists. This was the true threat, the weapon designed to end the war in the Vexari's favor. Prepare all weapons, she commanded. We take that ship down or die trying. The Sentinel engaged in a desperate duel with the Oblivion, dodging massive energy blasts while firing everything in its arsenal. The quantum disruptor, enhanced shields, and newly integrated weapon systems pushed the ship to its limits. The battle was fierce and brutal, with the Sentinel's crew working seamlessly under pressure. Each volley chipped away at the super weapon's defenses. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the Sentinel's quantum disruptor pierced the Oblivion's core, triggering a catastrophic chain reaction. The super weapon exploded in a blinding flare, debris scattering across the void. With the Oblivion destroyed, the cloaked fleet lost its edge. The tide of battle turned, and human forces regained control of the outer defense ring. Back on Earth, celebrations erupted. The Sentinel had stopped the Vexari's deadliest weapon and with it, saved countless lives. But Captain Carter knew this victory marked a new chapter in the war. The Vexari were ruthless and adaptable. The Sentinel and humanity would have to grow stronger still to face what lay ahead. As the ship sailed toward Earth, battered but unbroken, Carter looked out at the stars and vowed, humanity's most powerful asset was not the ship itself, but the unyielding spirit of those who served aboard it. The explosion that destroyed the Oblivion marked more than just a victory. It heralded the beginning of a new era for humanity and the galaxy. Captain Maya Carter stood on the Sentinel's bridge as the ship returned to Earth orbit. Battered but victorious, behind her, the crew moved with quiet resolve, their faces reflecting exhaustion and pride in equal measure. Across Earth, the news of the battle and the destruction of the Vexary's deadliest weapon spread rapidly. For the first time, humans looked to the stars not with fear, but with hope and perhaps even respect from the very civilizations that had once dismissed them. At the Galactic Council, a special assembly was convened. Ambassador Celine Hayes addressed the representatives, recounting humanity's extraordinary rise from a seemingly insignificant planet to a formidable military and strategic power. Earth has shown us all what determination, innovation, and unity can achieve, she said. The Sentinel is more than a warship, it is a symbol of the indomitable human spirit. But for Carter and her crew, there was little time to celebrate. The war with the Vexari was far from over. Intelligence indicated that while the Oblivion was gone, the Vexari leadership was already adapting their tactics, preparing to evolve their fleet and strategies. We have their attention now, Carter told her officers during a briefing. They know Earth is not an easy target. We must be ready for anything. Plans were underway to strengthen alliances with other Galactic Council members. The human fleet expanded rapidly, incorporating lessons learned from the Sentinels. Battles, meanwhile. Scientists continued pushing the boundaries of technology, improving ship designs, weapon systems, and defensive measures. On a quieter note, Kale, the Vexari defector, had become a vital asset. His knowledge bridged cultures and technologies, fostering understanding that might one day lead to peace, though his past was marked by conflict. Kale embraced his new role among humans, earning trust through dedication. Captain Carter often reflected on the journey from the day the Sentinel was dismissed as worthless to the present moment, where it stood as humanity's most powerful and invincible asset. It was a testament to the unexpected strength found in perseverance and belief. As the stars shimmered beyond the ship's viewport, Carter made a silent promise to her crew and to humanity. No matter the darkness ahead, they would face it together. They were more than a species, they were a force, unyielding and resolute. The legacy of the Sentinel was not just in the battles won or the enemies defeated. It was in the hope inspired across the galaxy, the alliances forged, and the unbreakable will to defend what was theirs. Humanity's story was only beginning. The galaxy had changed forever, and Earth would never again be underestimated.